What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our college football channel. We continue with our 2023 schedule preview and projected record series. The Indiana Hoosiers are up next. This is a team that went 4-8 last year, and you see the schedule for 2023. They open up with a tough one. They got Ohio State there on September the 2nd, and then the next week they'll play Indiana State on the 9th. They play Louisville on the 16th. That game will be in Indianapolis, so a neutral site game. That'll be an interesting matchup there. They'll play Akron on September 23rd, and then back to Big Ten Conference play with Maryland on the road on September the 30th. They get a bye week after that game, then back on the road to face Michigan. So you look at, in their first 6 games, they've got Ohio State and Michigan. Pretty tough there. Rutgers on October 21st at home. Then they'll play on the road at Penn State on October 28th. They play Wisconsin on the 4th of November. Then it's on the road at Illinois on the 11th, Michigan State on the 18th, and they'll close things out on the road at Purdue on November 25th. All right, so you look at this schedule, and it's pretty tough. I mean, when you're playing in the Big Ten East, you're going to have a tough schedule because if you're not Ohio State, Michigan, or Penn State, you have to play Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. So that obviously makes it tough there. You look at who they play out of the West. Wisconsin, Illinois. Those are, the Big Ten West is so wide open. Any team you play there is basically going to be the same. You would maybe want to play the Northwestern would be the one team. They also play Purdue, of course, who they play every year. So you don't really get a tough draw, I don't think, out of the West. Maybe you'd rather have Northwestern, but other than that, it really doesn't matter. In the non-conference, Louisville will be tough, but Akron and Indiana State should be pretty easy wins. So all in all, the schedule is not any tougher than you would expect it to be, but it is, of course, going to be tough when you have Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State, potentially 3 top 5 or 6 teams. So let's get to the projection here. This is the scale that we use. If it's a 50-50 game, it'll be in the white. That's a game that could go either way. Under 20, over 80, those are games where I think the spread will be 20 or more points. 20 to 29, 71 to 80, those are games where I think the spread will be double digits. 30 to 39, 61 to 70, those are games where I think the spread will be around a touchdown, 6, 7, 8 points. And then again, your 50-50 games, those are games where I think the spread will be less than a touchdown, 3, 4, 5 points, kind of in that range. So you get Indiana State, that's your one easy win. You'd expect them to take care of business and win that game. Really the only easy win. I think Akron is a pretty easy win, a game where they should be favored by double digits, 17 points, maybe if I had to guess, but not a guaranteed win, but that's definitely one that Indiana should win, and they should be a double-digit favorite. Okay, games where they have almost no chance. Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State, already talked about these games, and 2 of them on the road. Just don't really see Indiana competing in these games. These might even should be in the red. I think they're probably looking at being a 17, 18-point underdog in these games, but potentially more, maybe even, especially Michigan on the road, they might be a 24-point underdog in that game. But we're going conservative. Anytime there's a question, I always go conservative. And so these games are going to be in the orange. And then you've got a bunch of games in the yellow where Indiana will be about a touchdown underdog. Louisville, Maryland, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan State, and Purdue. These are 6 games that will be tough, but Indiana's going to have a chance to maybe win 1 or even 2 of these games potentially, but they will definitely be underdogs. And then you've got Rutgers, the final game there. That's pretty much a 50-50 game. That's one that could go either way. So getting to the projection here, what we do is we count Indiana State and Akron. We count those as wins. Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State are counted as losses. The games in the yellow, we use 35%, and then Rutgers will be counted as 50%. And you just average all that out, and you get 5-7. So a 5-7 record for Indiana, missing out on a bowl game. If they go 5-7, though, is that really a bad season when you're only going to be favored in 2 or 3 games? So again, the odds would say they're going to win a couple of these games in the yellow just because there are 6 of them. Will they actually do that? Well, we'll see. But again, the odds would say that you're going to get a couple of those wins. And if they do, they could get to 5-7, 6-6. I think it's going to be really tough. 4-8 might be more likely than 6-6, honestly, just because, again, they're going to be underdogs in most of the games that they play. But 5-7, that is the projection for Indiana in 2023.